Well, hello, everybody. Today we have with us Julie Kirkpatrick, who is the CEO of meetNKY. For many people, realizing that you might have thought it used to be called the Convention and Visitors Bureau, but Julie, thanks for meeting with us today.
Thanks so much for having me on, Judge Knochelmann.
Absolutely. So you've got a very critical organization to Northern Kentucky's hospitality industry. And we know that it's been amazingly affected by COVID. But before we kick it off and talk about the impacts of COVID, maybe just give us a recap of what is meetNKY and what is your mission?
Thanks. So meetNKY is a destination marketing and management organization, which is really just a fancy way of saying that we make a big economic impact for all three counties in Northern Kentucky by bringing visitors to the region. So visiting friends and relatives, coming to see the Reds, coming for a convention, coming for the ARC encounter, coming for having some of your first sip of bourbon. And we do it, and it leaves a big economic impact. As a matter of fact, last year, almost $2 billion worth of an economic impact that touches restaurants, bars, transportation, the airport, hotels. It's a universe of business.
How many visitors in the normal world would Northern Kentucky see on an annual basis, individuals coming to our community?
Yeah, we are lucky that we see close to 26 million people coming to the region every year.
Wow. And obviously when they're here, they spend money, and that's a huge thing for both the businesses who provide that service as well as for the overall economy as a whole.
Absolutely. And, typically this month, July, that we're just wrapping up, is usually one of our biggest months of the year with a NASCAR race. Usually the Reds play the Cubs and bring a lot of Cubs fans in town. And of course, the last weekend of every July is the Cincinnati Music Festival. But unfortunately, we don't have those three things this year.
And Julie, one of the things, you listed restaurants and hotels, but the other thing, I guess, in bringing in guests are for conventions, and maybe speak to that issue in terms of work you do to help the convention center.
Absolutely. We partner with the Northern Kentucky Convention Center in bringing in conventions and meetings to that facility. It's a great facility. It's one of a kind, especially with the new CTI-powered Learning Center, which, if you don't know, is a great 450-seat amphitheater, immersive technology learning center. There's nothing like it in the country. But COVID and obviously mass gatherings are just not going to happen for the rest of this year. So while we have a very proactive sales effort, I do have to say that we've lost almost 40,000 room nights at conventions this year. That's about $20 million worth of business. We are definitely very lucky that a lot of those have chosen to rebook into 2021. So they will be coming, and we're definitely keeping our vision forward with Gretchen Landrum and her sales team on what is new business that we can bring in.
And so let's jump to the effects of COVID. You're down 40,000 hotel rooms, you said.
Yes.
What does that do also to the restaurants? What are the other numbers being affected by COVID?
Yeah, so typically our hotels, especially during the summer, run 85, 87% occupancy, and our hotels right now are running anywhere between 16 and 30% occupancy. So with that loss in visitors, you think about the visitor impact in this region. They come in through CVG Airport, so that's being impacted. They use our rideshare services, maybe Uber, our rental car services. Those are very impacted. Tank ridership, for example, you're not having those visitors riding the South Bank shuttle right now. So that impact kind of reverberates, and definitely the bars and restaurants are missing out on these visitors that come for the weekend. Maybe they're traveling for business with Kroger or Procter & Gamble. That travel is not happening right now, so that money is not being left behind in the community. Our goal, we have got to get this industry recovered, because along with the impact of losing these visitors, the industry has also been very impacted by job loss. There's a report that came out from NKU's Center for Economic Analysis and Development that showed that the industry in this region has lost almost 26,000 jobs since April. that's about a half, more than half of the industry. So the business recovering will lead to job recovery, and we're very, very focused on that right now.
That's great. Well, and and then behind those job losses are real people, real families trying to keep body and soul together. So my heart breaks for those individuals as well. What does the when you talk about the shift, most of these conventions and these convention rooms have moved and committed to 2021, hoping that COVID, we have vaccines and other things, hoping by early 2021 to do that. But what's the long-term effects to the meetNKY organization? You're funded, I believe, and I know, by a piece of the work of hospitality. Maybe touch on that a moment.
Absolutely. So a lot of our funding that allows us to do our good work comes from the taxes that visitors pay when they stay in our hotels. We call that the occupancy tax, and a portion of that comes to us to allow us to do sales and marketing to bring in more visitors. So with an impact in that, we've really had to take a look organizationally, and it's not definitely about thriving right now, it's about surviving. So we've had to make some hard choices. We've had to make some hard staffing choices. We've had to make some hard programming choices, setting a basis for what can we do to survive through this economic downturn, but also be very proactive in layering in business that will be a catalyst for recovery. There are national indicators out there that the travel and tourism industry, it's going to take a while to recover. National forecasts are indicating 2023, 2024. So anything that we can do grassroots here in the region can help, kind of shorten that recovery period. Gets more people working, gets more, good wages and taxes going into the cities. It definitely could be a catalyst for recovery. So anything that we can do from, revenue replacement, that is definitely what we're focused on for 2021 and beyond.
So I'm sure you have a strong message to us locally, as if we're available and able to do it. Buy from the local restaurant.
Absolutely.
Carry out. Stay in if you need to. Feel safe to do that. But let's support the local restaurants and businesses that are trying to keep their businesses going.
Absolutely. It's all of those great local small business entrepreneurs that make the destination unique. All of the great restaurants in Florence and Covington and Newport, Bellevue, Fort Thomas. Those are the things that visitors look for when they visit somewhere. They want something unique and something very local. So anything that our residents can do right now to get out there and support them, if it's buy a gift card, if it's do takeout, it is going to pay in the long run. It really is, to keep our destination very unique.
And Julie, I'm going to take us back for a moment quickly. Let's go back a year ago. Things are hopping, things are busy. What does Northern Kentucky, what kind of thing that would be great to share with the community about what was going on then that will eventually come back in terms of the hospitality industry that we may not have known about?
I don't know, and I hope that everyone knows about how vibrant the industry is here in this region. For example, hotel investment is way above the national average in new hotels that are being built, investments that are being put into hotels, renovations that are being done at all of our premier properties. Here in Covington, you have the Salliers Group that's making a major reinvestment into the Hotel Covington. Florence has, I believe, 4 or 5 projects that are still moving forward. So hotel owners, when they decide to invest in a destination, they're not looking at the gains in the next year to 2. They're looking at long-term gains. 2019 was a record-breaking year. We know that record will come back. The vibrancy of CVG Airport and all of the attributes that we have here in the Cincinnati region are going to be very, very attractive, and it will recover. So, things like the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum, the Newport Aquarium, BB Riverboats, all of these attributes, along with our very, very emerging bourbon scene, definitely allows us to say that Southern spirit starts here in Northern Kentucky.
Well, let's end on the bourbon comment, because the beeline, the work that's there, many people love to buy bourbon. Why does that matter to Northern Kentucky?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Northern Kentucky is absolutely where bourbon starts. Once you cross that Ohio River, you are entering bourbon country, where 95% of the world's bourbon is made, and we kind of joke 100% of what you should drink. So with our CVG airport and all of the great distilleries that are here in Northern Kentucky, we definitely are able to say that we are a gateway to bourbon country. So, you know, we have done a great job of putting together bars and restaurants and distilleries into a unique bourbon experience where people can get their first sip of Kentucky bourbon, and then they can head on down south. They can head on down to Frankfort or Bardstown or head on over to Louisville. But this is a great first stop.
Well, with that, let's end on a good topic, which is bourbon and the successes you and your team have had with that. And then hopefully we'll get through this quickly, but really appreciate the time and the update you've been giving us about what's going on at meetNKY, and the best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on, Judge Kay.